Alright guys, I'm back in the garage today, hoping to get some good stuff done, completed on the engine and on the MR2 today. I do have a bunch I need to get done, obviously, so I'm going to try to mount up the turbo here to see what length of hose I'm going to need to be able to run a turbo oil drain on here. Looking at Vibrant Performance's whole setup that they have, it goes from the turbo to the oil pan. It's a quality kit. Of course, I trust Vibrant Performance. They make quality products. Then I also need to figure out bolts to be able to mount the turbo to the manifold. Probably gonna have to take this to like Ace or somewhere to be able to find proper bolts that'll mount the turbo up and get that installed on there so I can figure out all the mounting stuff I'm going to need. So I am still working on the physical state of this. I'm probably going to swap out a radiator there. I do need to still order also water to air intercooler heat exchanger, try to mount that up here as well. And then also get the water to air cooler water pump as well. That, I gotta figure out if I'm gonna mount that back there, if I'm gonna try to mount it up here. Basically you want it in like the lowest part of the system, but there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I will get into that as I have the engine in the vehicle and I'm going through all the rest of that. As the interior goes along, I do have some stuff I'm going to be doing to the cluster. Right now, of course, it is just a stock cluster, but I am going to be doing some things in there that's going to be very unique to this vehicle only. And then, of course, I do have the AW11 shifter in there. I'm thinking about making a custom Momo steering wheel for this. I also still need to get in here. It's been snowing a lot recently, and I've been trying to clean out the engine bay, get it basically scrub down with degreaser and pressure wash everything out of here to make it good for the new firewall heat shield I have going in here. And then I can throw the engine in, leave the transmission out. Once I have everything in there, I can start with wiring, get the wiring all done in here, figure out where I want to route everything, mount everything, and then put the transmission in, and then hopefully be good to go to just start driving this thing. Obviously in the last video I did get AC lines removed because I'm not going to be using AC in this vehicle. Kind of a pain to do. I also do drop the fuel tank still. I do have a fuel pump to go in there, just a Walbro 255. For the time being, I'm going to start with mounting the turbo up here, getting some good measurements so I can make sure what oil drain hose I'm going to need from the turbo to the oil pan. Wow, just look at me over here getting the measurements she wished I had. 8 inches, so yeah, I should be able to use Vibrant's 12-inch hose there. So I realize I'm going to have clearance issues for this massive wastegate. So obviously I have oil filter housing here. There's this hole which you can mount up from the turbo, you know, down to the exhaust, all that fun stuff. But wastegate would ideally go right here, and that's not really going to work. Other solutions are from eBay. There's this little block you can insert into here to give this like a 1-inch little gap. The problem is if I lower this another inch, I'm going to have issues with the oil drain not wanting to actually drain down to the oil pan. So this is a solution that I'm struggling to find. I should say this is a problem I'm struggling to find a solution for. And if anyone has any ideas on what I can do here, please let me know. I mean, I guess I could run a little pipe in between the wastegate there in that little hole, just at a 45-degree angle, and then run it over to the exhaust there so it'll just dump right in. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm talking about, but I think that would probably be my best bet, because obviously I can't go there because it would contact oil filter, and this would keep it out of the way of the oil filter. I just have to make sure I, heat wrap it really well so it doesn't melt the oil filter. but there's just a lot that goes into that. But I do have this mocked up pretty well, aside from this being upside down. Okay, I took a moment to really rotate the center housing and the compressor shaft, or compressor housing as well there. And overall, this is basically how I want the turbo to mount up, and I think this will actually work perfect with how everything works right here. I'm gonna have a turbo oil feed right there. Oil drain will, of course, come out and go right over to the oil pan there. And everything, yeah, looks good. This is just a temporary fitting that I just threw in there just for fun, so don't even worry about that. All right, well, I did a bit of measuring and ordered a bunch of parts, and now I've got everything here that I thought would work. I also did get some titanium hardware for the turbo to be able to properly mount that up, but I got this Vibrant oil drain kit that drops the oil drain like obnoxiously far down. So basically this would drain to basically the bottom of the oil pan, which is not going to work because this needs to be pretty high up, probably like up here instead of way down here. So I'm gonna have to change this Vibrant kit just a bit to be able to make this properly work. Other things I got was a nice oiled feed kit and this adapter that'll work a lot better off the block with this whole piece here. A lot of people were complaining about certain ones of these breaking, but those were brass ones. This one is a milled, I believe it's an aluminum one, but or maybe it's even steel, but even so, it's gonna work a lot better than a brass one that'll probably just snap and crack right off. All right, so for the time being, since I'm still waiting on parts for that now, I'm gonna get back to this, dropping the fuel tank, and then maybe even later today, I will pull the car out and spray out the engine bay, get that prepped for paint, and prep for all the new heat shielding I have going in, which I will go over everything I bought, so you guys, if you guys are interested in doing this, you guys can see what products I got, and hopefully they'll work for you as well. All right, slowly chipping away at removing the fuel tank. This upper hose right here, I disconnected that from the fuel tank, so the rubber hose is now attached to the fuel tank. It still has this like braided stuff on there. But now I'm trying to remove the filler hose off the rest of the filler neck here, which is this metal pipe that runs all the way down here into the tank. The rubber hose does not want to come off, so I'm having to basically struggle with that. I have this pipe all loose, so I can hopefully try to maneuver this just a little bit more and finagle it out of there. All right, I finally got the fuel filler neck out. It's sitting right here, this whole piece, and basically this end where the fuel filler cap is, in the side of the body over here, there's 4 screws that hold this little cap in, and then basically this just kind of slips right over that, so I just slid this right off, and definitely needs to be cleaned up. That is quite dirty, but other than that, that is all taken care of. Now I'm pretty sure the tank is ready to drop. So dropping the fuel tank is going to require me to remove a bunch of different brackets under here. There's this little crossbar here. There's also the parking brake cable bracket there, and a couple different like cables in the way, like speedometer cable and throttle cable, which I'm also going to have to get out of the way as well. But after that, there should be, I think, just 2 fuel tank straps that hold it in. After that, those come undone and then the whole thing just drops down. Okay, thankfully the fuel tank isn't too hard to drop. You have this bracket here, the cables, which there's like a bunch of brackets that run all the way back. I only did the middle bracket here from here to the rest of the body. But I did these 2, and then there's this cable here that drops down from the body, which is held in with a cotter pin, or a pin and cotter pin there. So once you remove that, you can remove these brackets, and then now I believe the fuel tank is ready to drop. I just have to get a 12 deep and then probably put a jack under it, and then I can lower it down. after I finally became not an idiot and realized I had to take apart part of the center console to get the fuel sending unit connector unplugged, I also destroyed a bunch of the interior plastic, which is funny because you think I would just have removed the seat and not done that, but yeah, don't worry about that. Now the fuel tank I can drop. To raise the back end up just a little bit. I have the jack under the rear motor mount back there, but got the fuel tank finally out of here. It is quite dirty. Wanted to clean this up while it was out, so that's why I haven't lowered this back down and cleaned out the engine bay just yet, because I wanted to clean out where the fuel tank actually sits under the vehicle and the fuel tank itself. This is the sending unit, and that's where the new fuel pump's gonna go. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm gonna figure that out. It may be a level sensor, probably has a level sensor in there and in here, just since this tank is kind of long. They may have two in there just to kind of give the fuel gauge a better idea of where the fuel actually is in the vehicle. So now, since I have that out, I'm gonna get this lowered back down and then get ready to roll it out and pressure wash the engine bay, the undercarriage, and this fuel tank all completely off. One little upgrade I'm also going to do while I'm have everything apart is I'm going to pull the wiper blade arms, or actually the wiper arms off, have those sandblasted and powder coated black just to give it a little bit of touch, a little bit of extra touch, make it look a bit better. I'm also going to get some sandpaper, sand these down with probably like 400 grit, something like that. Polish up the metal, maybe not even polish up the metal, but just at least get this all sanded off of here so it looks a lot better, and then wrap it. So I do have some satin black from when I was trying to wrap the Talon. Also in another video you guys probably saw, which did not, oh actually you guys didn't see that video because I completely messed that up, so don't even worry about that. But all this rubber, it's actually looks pretty good, so I'm just going to leave that alone. But basically just this metal strip here and this metal strip here, those are going to come off, so I can wrap those as well. Hopefully they come off fairly easy. They look like they're just a bunch of screws that run along here, and then yeah, then I'll just run basically some cleaner on this, maybe some black trim restorer on that, just overall make this thing look a lot better, especially when I go to wrap it. But for the time being, when I do get this back up and running, I do have to get this back over to the collision center, get the new core support on, and this pulled back up a little bit more so the core support can actually sit properly on there. Once that is all done, I'm probably just going to wrap the fender, the headlight lid, and the hood silver to be able to match, and probably the front bumper, so that'll all be at least one color, so the car is still silver. It won't look the best with these looking kind of like brand new paint and those, you know, looking kind of old, but it'll all match at least. Alright guys, I'm ending the video here. I did get the fuel tank all pressure washed off. I'm going to get the fuel pump in that. I got this rolled out, pressure washed the engine bay, and then I even just taped off everything and repainted the engine bay, so everything's all looking good. And I'm really happy with how this came out. This is all exactly how I wanted it. There's black down there for the lower subframe. I got those spray painted black. The whole bay is painted silver to be able to match the rest of the vehicle. It's just all looking really good. On the engine here as well, I did get the oil pan, oil drain bung welded onto the oil pan. Did get my 60-degree fitting for the turbo. This will be able to make this come right over into here really nicely, and I can still be able to use the line I picked up from Vibrant. Biggest thing is I'm still just waiting on the adapter plate. This is one for a T25 turbo. This turbo is a T23, so this is the wrong size. It won't even bolt on. I just have it up there for test fitting purposes so I can mock up everything for the line. So I'm just waiting for that. Then basically the engine is all done. And then I can drop that in there, be able to get that all put back together pretty much for the most part. Big shout out to my friend and fabricator Ryan Colburn. He was able to hook me up with that. I'll link his Instagram right here. At this point, there's not really much else I can do. I do have to put the new input shaft seal on the transmission, the new throwout bearing, and put the extended slave cylinder push rod on there. Other than that, on the vehicle itself, I just have to get fuel filter in, the shifter cable bushings in there, and the engine I can drop right in. Of course, I'm going to also put the flywheel and clutch on this, and then it's pretty much ready to go. But I hope you guys follow along. I know it's been a little bit since I posted this video, and there's a lot going on in this video, but slowly all coming together. So just please like, subscribe, share. Just remember, don't quit on a body that won't quit.